Hello, everyone. My name is Aaron Christensen. This is Horror 101 with Dr. AC, and welcome back to The Stack. Today, we're going to be talking about Willy'S Wonderland, which hit Blu-ray earlier this year. It came out in 2021 and instantly drew comparisons to a film called Five Nights at Freddy's, which is based on the video game series. Now, I had not seen Five Nights at Freddy's. I had not played the video game series. I didn't know there was a franchise out there that already dealt with killer animatronics in a kind of Chuck E. Cheese type of restaurant. But that's what Willy'S Wonderland is all about. Nicolas Cage plays a nameless drifter who's rolling through town, or at least he's planning to roll through town until he gets some spikes in his tires and ends up having to bring his car in for repairs. He doesn't have any money. The gas station does not take credit cards, but they're willing to have him work off his auto repair bill by spending the night as a janitor cleaning up the old deserted Willy'S Wonderland restaurant site. Seems like a simple enough task, so Cage takes the opportunity, but we soon find out that not all is as it seems, and that Willy'S Wonderland is actually populated by a bunch of murderous animatronics. It sounds like a great high concept. Nicolas Cage meets murderous animatronics. What could go wrong? The answer is you get exactly what you would be expecting, which is Nicolas Cage unleashing hell on a bunch of robot animals. But that's all you get. It's just Nicolas Cage beating the shit out of a bunch of robots. And yes, there are pleasures to be had in that, to be sure. One of the defining characteristics of this film is that Nicolas Cage's character never utters a single line of dialogue. He is a stoic, silent man with no name. And literally, his character is called the janitor in the credits. And I get that he's trying to channel some kind of Clint Eastwood, from the Sergio Leone Dollars trilogy. But the thing is, what makes Nicolas Cage so much fun is when he unleashes his entire personality. And he doesn't get to do that here. There's also some really weird touches where he has a timer, and every time the timer goes off, he has to go and get an energy drink. There's one time where he's fighting one of the robots and the timer goes off and he leaves the person that he's helping to go have his energy drink and play pinball for a while. There's lots of little weird touches in here, but I don't think they're weird enough, and I don't think that they're interesting enough to sustain the entire running time. When I first watched this movie, I thought, okay, this is the kind of movie you could have on in the background at a party and nobody really needs to pay much attention to it. If something gory or silly happens on screen, you can catch it for a second and then go back to the party. And after I finished watching, I went online and I was instantly reading all these comparisons to Five Nights at Freddy's. Again, I didn't know anything about Five Nights at Freddy's, and so I went and rented Five Nights at Freddy's. And I got to say, I think Willy'S Wonderland is a better film than Five Nights at Freddy's. Both of them take place in the kind of Chuck E. Cheese entertainment palace for kids. Both of them feature murderous animatronics. Both films definitely have their flaws. Willy'S Wonderland is a more pure experience. Five Nights at Freddy's gives us a whole lot of backstory about, again, a custodian type character who spends the night cleaning up the joint. And both of the backstories are pretty ridiculous. But for some reason, Willy'S Wonderland went down a little easier. I think because there's no pretensions to it. And also because it's easier to root for a film that didn't make a ton of money for Blumhouse. No shade on Blumhouse. They're just kind of the king of the horror hill. So I think they could take a few shots. Willy'S Wonderland comes out on Blu-ray and UHD from Shout Factory. It's got a pretty ordinary slipcover. It has 2 discs, one Blu-ray, one UHD. It doesn't come with a lot of extras. There's no commentary track. There are just a couple of featurettes, mostly focusing on the creature design and having, the performers inside of the giant animatronics. Cage definitely has a presence on the extras. He's there to be interviewed. He talks about his process and what appealed to him about the project. There are a few times where sound bites get repeated throughout interviews, which is a pet peeve of mine. I'm like, especially in a 5 to 12 minute featurette, just shoot some more footage, guys. So Willy'S Wonderland did the kind of thing that I definitely don't mind, which is to get me to explore other releases like Five Nights at Freddy's, where I learned a whole lot about the video game franchise and how disappointed people were with this adaptation of the video game franchise as a film. But apparently they weren't disappointed enough because it made a ton of money worldwide. But the other film that I'll be checking out now is the Banana Splits movie from a few years back, because they say that's the best animatronics go wild movie to check out. So that'll be one that's on my list. Probably be added to the stack before you know it. There are some decent gore sequences in Willy's Wonderland. And when Nicolas Cage tears the robots apart, there's a lot of black oil that gets spilled everywhere. You get some decent supporting performances by character actor Beth Grant and Emily Tosta, who was in the reboot of Party of Five. The rest of the characters feel like they're right out of Slasher 101, where they're just there to be cannon fodder. They say stupid things, they do stupid things, they get killed in glorious fashion. So that's Willy's Wonderland. It's a pretty straightforward tale where you get exactly what you came for. And kind of like when you go to Chuck E. Cheese, it's not quite as much fun as you wanted it to be. The food's not quite as good as you hoped it would be, but it's exactly what you expect it to be. Let us know what you think about Willy's Wonderland, Five Nights at Freddy's, Banana Splits movies, other killer robot movies, and also we'll have another 5 titles down in the description of this video. You let me know what you'd like to see taken off the stack. Until next time, keep searching, keep exploring, and keep sharing the scare.